Hi, readers. You probably noticed that we switched things up a little bit today. After those first couple of lessons, I thought maybe it's a little easier if we aren't jumping back and forth so much. So I started out first today with a video of my part of the reading. So hopefully you've had a chance to, listen to that already and follow along. And maybe you even then read the rest of that part to yourself, or you can come back to that part after we do this. But now we're going to look at a little bit of work in your packet. So we're starting out with a quick write. Is there anything in life that you are tired of? What is it? Explain. So remember, scholars, when you see the word explain, that probably means you're going to be using the word because. So I'm going to do a sample one. You maybe just watch for a moment, but is there anything in your life that you are tired of? If yes, what is it? So I'm going to scoot this over a minute so I have a writing surface. I'm tired of not being able to be at school with students. So I want to explain, right? I feel this way because, right, and then ... I would finish my answer. So if yes, there is something you're tired of, be sure you're explaining it, right, using the word because. But then it says, if no, why do you think that is? So if you aren't tired of anything, why do you think you're not tired of anything? Right? Just give your thoughts. Remember, the idea is that it's just a quick write, right? You taking a couple of minutes to write down a thought, just to kind of get your brain thinking about this, right? As we listened to the reading, right? What can you think what Ivan was feeling tired of, right? He said he was feeling tired of his domain. Right? So there's our connection. If you're still working on that quick write, you may want to stop for a moment, but if you're ready, we're going to move on to a look at the vocabulary words. So our new vocabulary words that we were hearing today in the reading, cunning, it means crafty and devious. So can you think about in our reading who was said to be cunning? And then our second word is wistful, yearning and longing. So feeling kind of melancholy. A type of sadness in a way, where you're longing for something, you're missing something, or you're thinking about it, oh, I miss that, right? Being wistful. I think it was Julia who had a wistful look in her eye as she was thinking about her art, right? Many of us, I think, are feeling wistful about being able to safely be back at school together, right? Longing to be back together in the building. Our third word, linger. If you linger, you wait around, you kind of dawdle, you're not in a hurry, so you kind of just hang out there, dilly-dallying, if you've ever heard someone say that, like don't dilly-daddle, don't dwaddle, don't linger, keep on moving. And then make amends. If someone makes amends with you, they're making good for it. They're asking for forgiveness, right? Maybe apologizing to you or presenting you with something to say, I'm sorry about what happened, trying to make amends, trying to fix it, trying to make it better. So scholars, let's try a couple of those vocabulary words together. So I'm noticing the instruction, fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary word. And here's a list of them and their meanings again. So that helps us to have that right there. My mom told me to blank with my brother after I had used harsh words with him. So I think a key here is after I had used harsh words. So do you think that would be lingering, right? Wait around with my brother, dawdle? I don't think so. Told me to make amends, right? Make good. Right? A way of apologizing. Our second one, with a blank sigh, the little girl put the toy back on the shelf before leaving the store. So I think this word sigh is really important. Right? So think about one of those words. Like, when might you let out a sigh? When you're longing for something, missing something, yearning for it. So with a wistful sigh. And then scholars, I'm going to have you do these last two on your own, but I think this hurry up part is going to help you with that sentence. So keep that in your mind as you're working. So today's reading, which you hopefully already listened to, was me reading 46 to 60, or if you didn't want to listen to me, you could, right, read it with your family. But do make sure you read 61 to 67 on your own. As well. You will need that for part of the homework, so be careful on that. Make sure you read that these last pages right here, 61 to 67. And then let's take a look at question number 3 in today's packet about figurative language. So I'm going to scoot my packet over. So question number 3, write one example of figurative language from these chapters, and what type of figurative language is it? So you might want to join me and write the one I'm going to write. But we came across a few of them. The one that sticks out in my mind that I talked about during the reading is on page 57. The beetle's an attractive bug with a body like a glossy nut. So, a body like a glossy nut is an example. Maybe we should put quotes around that, huh? It is from the story, right? Direct words is an example of a... I'm going to pause here for a moment. Do you remember? We're comparing two things, right? The body of the beetle to a nut, and it uses the word like. Do you remember what that is? Comparing two things and uses the word like, or the word as, but in this case, like. You think you have it? It starts with an S. It's a simile. Excellent. Then, scholars, before I go back to our slides, just another quick look at the rest of this. So make sure you finish, of course, the 2 vocabulary words over here. And then question 4, Mac has shown both kindness and unkindness in these chapters. Write an example of how he has shown each of these. So an example of how he was kind and an example of how he was unkind from today's reading. And then this part is really important, 5 and 6. Summarize the Jumbo story. So that part you have to read that I did not read aloud. I think it's page 61 to 67. You're going to hear a story of Jumbo. And when it says summarize the story, I'm going to tell me maybe just one sentence, kind of, what is that story about, right? Who is Jumbo and what happens to Jumbo? And then, scholars, if you're following along with me today and watched this video, you get to cross out number 6 for free today. It's a free answer. That's right. That's the reward of paying attention, watching the videos, and joining me for the important lessons. Then, scholars, taking us back for just a moment. So your homework, right? Read that last part. I think it's pages 61 to 67, actually. And then remember both sides of your packet, both of those pages. Make sure you submit photos and upload those pages to our Google Classroom so I can see your great work. Thanks for joining me for another lesson today. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you Monday as we continue the one and only Ivan.